Everybody, welcome to episode 19 of the Galactic Window Space Podcast. My name is Nick. I'm sometimes or all the time known as the Orbital Alliance here on the internet.
And my name is Tan. You guys may know me on TikTok as Chasing the Milk.
Nice. What's happening, brother?
What's going on, dude?
Oh,
What's
dude,
good?
All things are good in the hood.
Things are great.
Always great. I
Yeah.
want to say hey to everyone who's shown up here in the live chat on YouTube. As we typically do, we stream here Monday nights, 9 p.m. Central Time on YouTube. And we just want to welcome in some of our friends that we're seeing. So good to see you all here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we appreciate your support.
We got a lot of friends in here.
So we do. Wanted to do a quick plug right at the top of the order here. And this is a new development here. So we did create the Galactic Window TikTok account. And you guys, we need your help to gain some support over there. So if you guys are on TikTok, which I know many of you are, can you guys go over there on your mobile devices and go to @thegalacticwindow and push that little follow button if you want to see clips. And just fully transparent up top, it's a brand new account. We just started it. There's like one video that's up there right now, but we're gonna be posting clips and promotion for the podcast on that channel going forward. So we would love your support if you guys don't mind hopping over there and doing that really quick and
Show us some love.
show the love. And yeah, we'd appreciate your support very much. Thank you for doing that. Yeah. So dude,
Sweet.
Tan, you want to give us a quick rundown of what tonight looks like?
Okay. We're going to be talking about the Okie Tex Star Party. Maybe the second moon. The
Yes.
mysterious second moon that everyone's been talking about. And just space conspiracies that's been kind of floating around. And yeah, I think it'll be an interesting topic for us to dive into because it's kind of like the hot topic right now. And we can't escape it, so let's just address it and maybe educate some of y'all on what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Really quick. I need to do something here, Tan. Can you help me with something?
Yeah.
I would like you to text me really quick. Can you text me?
Yeah.
Yeah, just say hi. Just send me like a 2-letter text. I really need you to text me real quick.
Okay. Also, shout out to everyone on TikTok. If you guys are watching right now. Hello. Oh,
you
no
hear-
way, bro.
Could you guys hear that?
Dude, I want to text you all the time.
Send me another text. Send me another text. I need to get this right in the mic business here. Hang on. Oh, wait, no. Wait. Do it one more time. I actually had the phone off. There we go.
Dude,
So-
when did you steal that soundbite of me? No royalties, bro.
I how many roads every time I get a text message?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So I switched it over this weekend. I took a little clip out of one of the podcasts, and Tan is now my text tone. So anytime somebody
Dude, I
texts
love
me, it's him going ah ha ha. So yeah, thanks for humoring me there. I'll just leave it on my laptop here so you guys can hear it if anybody texts me in the middle of the show.
I love it. I love it.
Yep.
Um,
Oh man.
So yeah, welcome in everyone. For you guys that are over here, or if you guys are over on TikTok, this is our space podcast. We'll be doing these every Monday night, and yeah, I mean, that's kind of the short of it. If you guys like space, if you like astronomy, we'll try to keep you guys updated with cool stuff that are happening in that space. And yeah, tonight should be a fun one.
Really quick, I just want to say a quick note here. One thing we can do is we can feature comments here. So I did notice that it looks like we have maybe someone new, maybe someone I'm not familiar with. Maybe Tan, you know this is Avoy. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but you said you just found us, and I wanted to call you out and say hello. My name is Nick. Thank you for popping in here, and we appreciate you coming by for the show.
Bro likes my ears.
Oh
He
yeah,
says-
nice ears, Tan. Yeah.
Appreciate it. I've been working on it. I'm seeing a few comments about the hurricane too. Man, I hope everyone's safe. I know that's going to be pretty gnarly. Yeah. Um, let's see here.
Yeah, we'll definitely circle around to that because that's definitely akin to the conspiracy thing. But yeah, everybody who's in Florida or in the area, yeah, please be safe, extra safe. Next couple of days are gonna be rough.
Yeah, if you guys can't watch this podcast, that's fine.
Yeah.
Go get
Yeah, evacuate.
Princess. Oh man, a lot of inside jokes about my princess treatment at the star party, and we'll get into that too. But yeah, it's this should be a fun episode. So grab some snacks, grab a drink, and hope you guys enjoy the show. And if you guys haven't already done so, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I know a lot of us creators are always pushing that, but it's for a reason. We always want you guys to come back. And again, if we're going to be doing these weekly, we want you guys to try to come in and hang out with us every week as well.
Yeah, and while we do stream the Galactic Window directly to my channel, the Orbital Alliance, also want to make sure you guys know that Tan and I each have our own separate social media followings if you're new here. So, while I, of course, appreciate the support for the podcast by you subscribing to mine, also be sure to follow Chasing the Milk on social media as well. Show Tan some support there, too. So make sure that we spread the love.
Sweet.
Yeah, good stuff, dude. So do you want to just hop into the mess?
Yeah, should we start with the star party?
Yeah, tell us about your adventures because you were on this crazy escapade this past week, of which I know next to nothing about, but I know you and even some of the people here in the chat tonight were present at, and I think there's a lot of cool stories I'm sure that you have to talk about. So tell us where you were, what you were doing, and maybe people in the chat too. Drop in some fun stories or comments or moments. Let us know what you thought of this event. So yeah, Tan, take it away, man. Take it away.
Cool. I'm doing it. I'm taking it away.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on a recent trip to Oklahoma for a star party. And it's basically, a star party is a gathering of astronomy enthusiasts. And it's typically held at a location that's pretty remote and dark. So astronomers, we love dark skies. You're not going to find like a real hardcore star party in the heart of a city. So these are kind of held all over the country. And most likely you guys probably will have one in your state. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But the one I went to is called the Okie Tex Star Party. This was my second time ever at a star party, but my first time at the Oklahoma Star Party. And I mean, in short, it was an awesome time. It was so fun that I had already made a promise that I would be going back next year and the following year, and probably until I can't anymore. So I've already decided that this is going to be a part of like my life, and hopefully I'll find some other ones that are just as cool. But I flew out there Monday evening, had a full day Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I went back home Thursday. So 2 full days, 2 full nights, and I guess three nights. But I guess I'll try to like set the scene for you guys, for those of you that are listening or watching and that haven't been to a star party before. It is literally just, if you picture 400 plus people, astronomers, at any level, kind of just hanging out on an open field with their RVs, their campers, and then on each spot, everyone's got their own telescope or imaging equipment. So cameras, tripods, just tons of gear sprinkle out the entire field, right? And that's kind of, that's kind of the gist of the event. We're all gathered here to observe, enjoy stargazing, learn about stuff. And then during the day, you can venture off and go on a hike, or you can stay on site and they'll have like little lectures throughout the day. So they'll have guest speakers that will talk about, dark skies and all kinds of cool stuff. So I'll just try to condense my experience for you guys. I kind of had an idea of what to expect, but the experience quickly surpassed my expectations, just because, for one, huge shout out to some of the people that were there, because I actually met up with some friends from TikTok. Let's see, we got Tiffy, Zaliro, Astro. I think they're in the chat here. Deep Sky, dude. He was kind of, I don't know. He's just kind of like the star party dude. Like when you think of him, it was almost like he kind of ran the entire thing, or at least a big part of it. Moonlegs was there too. Bambassador. So a lot of people that I've not met before, but I've known pretty good on TikTok. So it was really cool meeting them. And I used to think meeting people for the first time it would be kind of weird. I'm like, man, I know these guys, but I don't know them. It was almost like we already knew each other just because we're always in the live streams together. So it was just so cool meeting them, and they were very welcoming. But to kind of get into like the meat of the star parties at night, as soon as everyone is like setting up and we're all waiting for the skies to get dark, right? Because that's kind of the main attraction. We're all set up, our telescopes are out. As soon as it gets dark, that's kind of when the magic happens. When you're out somewhere remote, and I mean really, really dark. So just to give you guys a scale, I'm about 35 minutes from my major city, which is St. Louis, and I can see a handful of stars in my backyard, but it's nothing to write home about. And even when I want to photograph the Milky Way, for example, I have to get to some dark skies, and for me that's about like an hour, to an hour and a half for some really good skies. I forget how far we were from the nearest town, but it's out in the middle of nowhere. So there were Bortle 1 skies, maybe a good Bortle 2, but they were almost from horizon, like from one side to the other. It was completely dark. And it's rare for me to see skies like that. But it was fun, man. It was just a couple nights of just observing, meeting people in the dark, which is always cool. Like I'm literally just walking to strangers, walking up to their stuff, and like, hey man, what kind of telescope do you have there? What are you looking at? Where are you from? And some of the best conversations I've had are just in complete darkness, which is absolutely amazing, because during the day everyone looks different and you're not sure if you had already talked to them, but if you hear the voice you're like, oh wait, I think we had a conversation yesterday. So there was a lot of that. To kind of wrap everything up, it was an incredible experience. The last night was a little unfortunate because I actually ended up getting a stomach bug. There was a little bug that went around, and this is probably too much information, but it was a part of the trip. That last night, I was basically curled up in a little ball, like wishing I was home.
No.
Because I started vomiting, dude.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah, dude. It was, and I don't even remember the last time I actually vomit, right? This is like maybe back in the college days where I'm drinking too much. But I just remember around like evening after this, they had a cool little giveaway, which is really cool too. So many incentives to the star parties, but they gave away like thousands of dollars of like prizes. And I'm walking back to the tent, and it's around this time is kind of when you're getting ready for the night, right? You put on some clothes, you start bundling up, and you're getting ready for the night. I remember feeling really, really nauseous. I'm like, man, I think I just need some food, So I'm kind of like looking around for some food. So I have this like, what do you call them? Like just one of those microwavable box lunches. And I'm walking towards the cafe to use the microwave, and out of nowhere, I was just like, and I was trying so hard to hold it in, because like, dude, you are pretty close to people. Like everyone can hear you walking, so I know for a fact everyone heard that first go. So I was like, dude, whatever. Like, so I just let it out, and then I'm trying so hard to not vomit again, and then within like 5 seconds, like I just remember thinking in my head, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but just don't vomit, because you're about to walk past like a group of like 7 people. And I just exploded, dude. I just like projectiled. I was just like, blah! And it sucks so bad. And I'm pretty sure, like, I know for a fact they heard it, and they probably were like, oh, that sucks. But
you're just like a comet with a tail. Just
yeah, dude. It was like the longest tail. So I basically just like projectiled everywhere, and it was honestly really, really crappy. At the time, I didn't know there was something going on. I thought it was just me, or I thought I'd eaten something. But that night was mostly not ruined, but it wasn't fun. I pretty much went to bed. I curled up and just drank a lot of water and said, "This is unfortunately the last night. I won't be able to enjoy it with my friends, but it is what it is." I ended up waking up at like 3 in the morning, feeling a little bit better, walking outside and seeing that it was so beautiful. So I mustered every bit of energy I could to set up a time lapse and said, well, if I'm not going to enjoy the last night, at least my camera can hopefully grab some photos.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how it ended. But aside from that, it was the most fun I've had. And I just want to give a big shout out to my friends that were all there for welcoming me, and just everyone who actually set up the Star Party itself. I've heard the Okie Tex Star Party is arguably one of the better ones, and I've only had one other one to compare to, but I will say again that it's going to be something that I plan on going back every year until I can.
Dude, I am so sorry that you got sick. That's awful. That is so rough, man. Oh,
Turns out a good chunk of the people got sick too. I guess I kind of left that part out. It wasn't until the day after, as I was leaving, I was talking to some of the people, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I'm leaving early. I got really sick last night," and I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." And now that I think about it, I forgot to mention a big part. That same night when I was puking, about a couple hours later, I heard other people puking too.
No.
but I didn't put two and two. I was like, "Oh, that's weird." I'm like, "Well, at least I don't feel so bad that someone else is sick too." And it wasn't until the next day that I started talking to people, and apparently there's just I guess it was called the norovirus.
Yeah, I saw Tiffy put here. I'll put the comment up. She said it was a confirmed norovirus. Got the email from Okie Tex today. So it's like the event actually sent out a blast being like, "Hey, if you got sick, that's awful, dude."
Yeah, it's kind of scary because it's like it's straight out. It just felt like it was straight out of a movie. I always feel like I'm pretty, I'm pretty immune to getting sick and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it just happened and it spread so fast, it was just almost like a zombie apocalypse. It was just like one person got sick and then I got sick, and who knows how many other people got sick.
Dude, I wish I knew the science behind it a little bit more, because at our, gosh, what was it? It's probably like 6 or 7 years ago at this point. But at the church I used to work at, the youth program had this huge event with all the regional campuses in the area, and I don't know if it was 80% of this, and there was hundreds of kids there, high school age kids. They had the norovirus showed up there, and most people who were there came out with it, and they sent everyone home. It was supposed to be this weekend event, and they it is insane how quickly it spreads. And again, I don't understand the biology, and I versus a cold or something that gets passed around, via molecules of water or whatever that comes out of you through your breath, and I don't know, sneezing and touching door handles and stuff. But I'm why is that one so rapid? What makes it that potent, and why is it not eradicated? I don't understand it. But it's nuts, because you said you got that on the last day, so that must mean you were there several days and nothing happened. So somebody showed up either late or just didn't make the rounds. The virus didn't go around town until the end, or maybe you contracted it halfway through and then you finally got sick at the end. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, because it almost felt like it was an instant, I hit a wall. Mm-hmm. It wasn't gradual at all. It was I'm completely fine. I'm so excited to look through some telescopes tonight, to, oh my God, I'm about to puke. It was tan. Maybe it was me.
You're ground zero, man.
Oh, I hope it wasn't me.
It's the St. Louis virus. That's what it was.
Yeah, those St. Louis blues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But again, aside from that, it was an incredible experience. And even if I zoom out, that was such a, it was a small part of it, and it's definitely not going to deter me from going subsequent years.
How was the weather all the days?
It was clear. I think every single night. My only complaint was that the first night was extremely windy. It was so windy to the point where most people actually weren't imaging or had their telescopes wrapped up.
Wow.
But it was, on the first day of traveling, it was nice for me to be able to kind of almost have a burner night, where I could just go around and hang out, catch up with my friends, and walk around.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tandemic. I don't get it.
Yeah. I need
That's
my
good.
phone. I need my text to go off right about now.
Yeah, I'll just have one ready every time.
Yep.
So yeah, so aside from a little bit of wind, it was just completely clear, man. The skies were just almost like black. It's hard to explain unless you've seen it, but the Milky Way was just so easily visible to the naked eye. I mean, you can easily make out like tons of clusters, the Andromeda Galaxy, and of course Orion. Seeing Orion rise up in the morning was just so beautiful.
Dude,
It was cool.
Sirius, the star, like, has been catching me off guard because I mean that sneaks up in the mornings now. It's a winter star, and you seeing like Orion and all that. Like Sirius is just to the left of it. Like, it was I the other day. I don't know what time it was. I looked out my bedroom window and looked out to the south, and I was like, "Holy smokes! Like, what is that?" And I forgot that winter is coming. That's not a Game of Thrones reference, but I was like, whoa! I'm like, oh, that's serious. Like, okay, but like for you in those skies, like, what did that star look like? Was it just like glittery and huge?
It was, yeah. I mean, it was. I always think of like a disco ball whenever I see Sirius. And yeah, it was just super. It's just one of those things. If you like the first time you see it that night, you're like, holy crap, that's serious. Like it always just kind of catches you off guard for a second, and you realize, oh, that's the brightest thing in the sky right now.
Yeah, that's. I just looked it up because I was curious. The star Sirius is 8.6 light years away. It's super close. That's like double the distance of the closest star to us, which it's like about 4.2 light years, give or take. So yeah, it's like super close, and isn't it huge? It's like is it a blue like super giant or something like that, or I don't know if it's like a regular size. Maybe it's just really
Can't
close.
tell you.
It's
big.
It's just big. Yeah,
It's very
but
big.
blue stars are hotter stars. I know that much. But yeah, like that's it's the brightest star in the sky visible to Earth.
Zaliro says it was seriously bright.
You got to do. I can't do it well.
You know what? This is just totally random. I kind of forgot this. There's so much more I could talk about Okie Tex, but I didn't want this whole episode to be about it. But I played beer pong there out in the middle of the desert.
Did you?
Yeah, shout out to Daniel Zaliro and Tiffy. I don't know how or who brought up the idea, but I think they just had a beer pong set.
Yeah,
and it was like the first time playing beer pong in years.
Dude, I mean, well, you were saying you haven't thrown up since college, so you had to bring the college vibes back with the beer pong.
Dude, you're right. It all makes
sense. It's a big
sense.
college party. Forget
Everything
stars.
happens for a reason. Yeah. One thing, real quick,
go
one thing I wanted to kind of highlight, and again, I forgot to mention this. This was probably one of the highlights of the trip for sure. Was that there was this couple, and I don't remember how long they've been doing this, but I believe that they were kind of like paying tribute to a former member of the Star Party. But they catch all this fish from Alaska and they bring it out and make sushi. And they have this whole like presentation. So like they kind of I believe they started out as a small group of like close friends, and then eventually if you got the invite, you're like, oh, at a certain time we're gonna do sushi here. But they had music playing, and I forgot the couple's name, but they had this whole beautiful presentation, and they served so much sushi. There was like Japanese beer, sake, wasabi, soy sauce. Like they had the whole thing there, and it was the most incredible experience because one, the sushi was just absolutely fresh and it was amazing, and two, it was the last thing that I would ever expect to see at a Star Party in Oklahoma in the middle of the desert. Was like a whole like basically serve. Yeah, just it was so much sushi. It was awesome, incredible.
That's epic. Yeah, I figured if you were in Oklahoma, like I'm thinking, oh, maybe like barbecue. That makes sense, right? Someone's, got something sauced up. But no, you get the sushi, bro.
It's the sushi, man. It was pretty dang good.
Ooh, Daniel says they had sake.
Yeah, they. I probably had too much of that, but maybe that
That's
was
where
maybe
the-
all of that. Yeah, it was like the perfect concoction. It was sugar, spice, and everything nice.
Mm-hmm. Here's a really good question in the chat here. When is the next Star Party, and how do you get invited?
Good question. So there are star parties periodically through the year. Avoy. The Okie Tex one ended Saturday, and it's going to be around the same time next year. However, there's so many more that you can go to. For instance, there's one in I think 2 or 3 weeks in Texas called the El Dorado Star Party. If you just go on Google, for anyone listening, if you guys just go on Google and type in star parties near me or star parties for 2024, 25, you'll have a list of tons of these, and everyone is invited. You do not have to hold any kind of credential. You do not have to be like an astronomer or a professional. Some people just go there with absolutely nothing just to enjoy and learn. So the best thing you can do is just kind of research, see what area would make sense for you, and decide if you want to fly out there or make the drive. But I will say it is something that everyone should experience at some point. It's basically just a big camping event, but add astronomy to it, and it really just makes it so much enjoyable.
Here's a note from Daniel. They plan star parties around new moons. It's a good note for sure.
Correct. Yes. Because you essentially want to have the darkest skies. So new moon meaning that you have a night of mostly no. Well, during a new moon, the moon won't be visible at all night. But the days leading up to it and even after, you'll usually just have like a really thin sliver of a moon. And yeah, that's a great call.
Dude, the cool thing that when you said new moon, it reminded me there like this new moon. There was an annular solar eclipse that happened over the Pacific Ocean during this new moon. So while you guys were experiencing Okie Tex, there was an annular eclipse happening. Did you know that?
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
No.
It was like only over land for like an hour. I think it hit South America, but it went over Easter Island, and I saw pictures that somebody took with those like head statues that
Yeah, dude.
on Easter Island. Like someone like went under that and took a shot and did like a composite of the annular eclipse happening with that. So I'm like, dude, it's
that's
freaking
sick.
wild.
That is so cool. It's crazy to think about that though. Like for us over here on this side of the earth, we can't see the moon at all, and somewhere on the other side, although technically they can you can't see it during the day, but in this case they see it in front of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty wild.
Tiffy made a comment here, and I was going to ask about this, and it reminded me to come back to it. I know we talked about this with Will in episode 9 when he was our guest. You guys were talking about Will being their deep sky dude, because we had asked him about these star parties, because he was talking about Okie Tex, and he was looking forward to being there. And I had asked him, like, what is it like when somebody turns on a white light or a phone or a car headlights by accident in a star party like this? Because everybody's trying to image. They have their telescopes out. The last thing you want is light spill from something as simple as a power supply or your phone, or God forbid your headlights from your car. Like, so it sounds like some of that happened, because I do you have any horror stories that happened to you? Did you see anybody have this experience?
Yeah. So to kind of give you guys a little context, astronomers take their star parties very seriously. And to be honest, I used to think it was kind of silly of how strict they are with lights, even your phone, right? Even like this white light from your phone. But you realize there are people traveling from all over the country, all over the United States, driving miles and miles away to enjoy dark skies. There are people that fly in from other countries. I think there's one from Europe that went there, which is absolutely insane. But they are very strict. There is a zero white light policy. That means everyone that you see there after a certain time, you basically can't drive your car like a certain area because they don't want it affecting the field. And then white lights are just strictly prohibited. It's not even like, oh, turn it down. It's just don't use them. We use red lights because it preserves your night vision, and that's one of the most important things that you want to have under some dark skies. there's no point of traveling really far, you know, to some of the darker skies if you're constantly blinded by white light, so your eyes can't really, you know, capture all like the light as it normally would under dark skies. But I myself caught myself accidentally um, blinding myself and some others at one point. It was really brief. Like I had this heated hoodie, and like it has these modes on it. And at one point, it like I think the tape fell off, and it was just like this. Everyone was just like ah, but Tiffy mentioned this the rage. There was just one gentleman, and I don't know if he was near a guy or he just was completely like oblivious to the fact that he was disturbing everyone's night vision. But he was in his tent, and apparently this guy, like for 3 or 4 nights, I don't remember how many times, but it wasn't the first time. He just kept on having his like the brightest white light, and he was like looking around, like, and he was inside his tent, so like it was almost like it was like a balloon of light.
Oh no!
And every time he turned it on, all I would hear in the background is white light, and just everyone just yelling at him, just lining up and like roasting this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, geez, but it makes sense. And you know, to be honest, I'm glad they enforced that stuff, because if you don't, then everyone would be doing it, and then you would be paying all this money to come out just for your neighbor to ruin your night vision.
Right. Or your pictures. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you're taking hour-long exposure or more longer, 6 hours or something like that, and it's like, boom, done. You know, gone instantly.
Yeah, there was this one part of the night where I remember I needed to grab something from the car. I had rented a car through Turo, and I decided just not even grab. It was my wallet. Yeah, I needed my wallet, and I was like, dude, I don't have any money. My wallet's in the car. But if I open up the door, all the dome lights are going to turn off.
Yeah.
So I just didn't, you know, and luckily I had Dan, you know, cover me. But yeah, it was just no white lights.
Dude, yeah. I feel like I would be so terrified if I drove there and had my car there. I feel like I would run tests with like impermeable blankets to like tape over my headlights and over the windows and stuff, just in case like I accidentally like walk by my car and it like detects my phone or something, or like I bump the door and it just like opens up and goes, you know. I would be so scared, man.
Yeah.
Be walking on eggshells.
Yeah, you as a newcomer, you definitely probably would feel like that too, because I know my first time, my first star party in 2022, I was at the Rocky Mountain Star Stair in Colorado. And again, I had rented a car. So like, you know, you don't know these cars. You don't know where all the buttons are. But I remember at one point I opened up my door, and for whatever reason, I just couldn't turn off the lights. And I had this headlight just beaming straight at this. I'm pretty sure I was pointed straight at like 5 groups of people. And I'm just thinking like, oh man, I'm that guy right now. I'm like panicking, trying to figure out how to turn off the lights. And it's sitting there. So yeah, some people go as far as I know some star parties, people actually cover their lights. They'll tape them, or they'll pull out some of the fuses to avoid any of that.
Dude, that's serious. That's how you're like hardcore.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was fun, man. It was good times. It is again, Okie Tex Star Party. Check them out. Or if you live somewhere that you know you might have one in your state, just check it out. Super cool.
I'm so glad you had a good time. That's making me want to take that seriously going into next year and consider seeing something.
Do it.
Like an event, and maybe even Okie Tex, because you guys seem to have quite the party. Although I don't think lightning will strike twice in the same place with the norovirus, so maybe next year is the better year to go. I don't know.
Yeah. It'd be worth it, man. If I knew that I was going to get sick again, actually, I don't know. That's a tough one, because it's definitely sucked.
Yeah.
But everything else kind of just made it so much better, though.
Did you get any good images?
I think I got decent images. It's interesting you mentioned that, because on every trip, as like as someone who is always with the camera and who's always trying to take some good photos, I always have a plan to go really nuts and take some awesome photos. I think this year I mostly was just soaking it in. I remember saying, "Oh man, I want to get the coolest photo, this Instagram banger, and I'm gonna get so many likes off this, bro." And I'm just thinking, like, man, there's just so much going on. There's so many people I want to talk to, and I just don't want to worry too much about my gear. So
Right.
to answer your question, I think I got some decent photos. I'm kind of sifting through them. A lot of time lapses, and that's okay for me. It's good enough for me because it's like a memory, a moment in time. But I also don't have to worry about competing with some of the sweaty photographers out there.
Yeah.
Too many sweats,
sweat.
man. This is why I don't take photos anymore, man. Too many sweats.
Yeah. It's like Fortnite builds. Nobody wants to do it anymore. We need 0 build astrophotography mode.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, like that little reference.
Tiffy says, "Don't get food from the cafe." Look, I'm not gonna sit here and roast them. I will say, if you guys end up going to Star Party, bringing your own food is probably gonna be the best choice because you can eat whatever you want, and you can, it's like a tailor-made dinner. Their food there it's all right. I mean, I will say this: there's not many places where you can get food at like 2 o'clock, like 1 o'clock in the morning. I think their cafe was open. Their cafe was called the Cosmic Cafe, and it was open from like 10 to 2 in a.m. So like, if you don't have any food, you're not going to be stranded out there, and you're not going to be like starving. Just don't expect like the greatest thing in the world. It's some of the stuff was kind of, I was a little I'm like, this definitely doesn't taste like anything, but
Right.
it is food, and so I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, totally. Really quick, I just want to say hello to everybody who is watching right now. Thank you for tuning in, whatever platform you're on. I know there is a bunch of us here on the YT, and we also have viewers on TikTok who are watching through Tan's stream on Chasing the
Shout
Milk.
out to all the homies on TikTok.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been avoiding my TikTok chat.
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah,
Okay.
chime in there. But yeah, it's good to see everybody here. We're kind of experimenting with some stuff and trying to see if we can spread the love of space to as many different corners of the galaxy as possible. So just want to say hello. If you are watching on TikTok, feel free to hop over to YT and chime in on the chat here too, and we can maybe feature your comment. We'll be talking more about space stuff along the way, so if you have questions or anything like that, we can possibly feature you. So just wanted to say hello. And we also would appreciate your support no matter what platform you're on. I'm going to go through the run here. We did just start a channel on TikTok for the podcast. It's brand new. There's like one video on it. Please go support and follow at the Galactic Window on TikTok. That'd be greatly appreciated. Like literally it's a brand new account. So there's like no following whatsoever. So if you see the account, it's not a spam account. That is us. We're just kicking it off. We'll be doing highlights and clips there and promo for the show. Also be sure to support at Chasing the Milk. That's Tan, all over social media. You can go to chasingthemilk.com for his channels, his imagery, and you can buy a hoodie if you want to support him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go for it. Back to you.
Oh, so, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to shout out people on TikTok. We got B World, Tanzanite. I've been neglecting to read the chat here on TikTok, but yeah, thank you guys so much for being here, and dude, thank you so much for the plug. Thanks, brah.
Yeah, brah. And then, of course, I'm going to plug myself. I'm going to do a little bit of that. I'm the Orbital Alliance, at the Orbital Alliance on social media. There is a link tree in my YouTube bio. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can hop right over there, just under the video, click my profile, and then find there. You can support me by following me there on all the social media platforms. So greatly appreciated, all of you who are watching. Good to see you all here tonight. Go ahead,
Quick reminder, guys. If you didn't know, we do these, Nick, every Monday?
Yeah, every Monday, bro. Every
Holy
Monday.
crap. We do a live well, we'll have a new episode every Monday at 9 p.m. We will strive to be here live like we are right now, but there are times where I'll be on a trip, or maybe Nick will be on a trip, or maybe we'll just both be puking for some reason. And we'll have like we'll have a pre-recorded show. But for the most part, you can expect a new episode every freaking Monday at 9 p.m. Central, right here on the YT.
Truer words never spoken. And you guys know, our episodes tend to vary with styles, right? Like a lot of times it's just me and Tan. We're having conversations like we are tonight. It's more of a discussion about space news, space topics, things in that ballpark. But like last week's episode, if you guys missed it, episode 18, be sure to go back and watch that because we did an astrophoto showcase. That's what we're calling astrophoto showcase, where Tan and I showcased some of our pictures that we've taken of the night sky and kind of gave the stories behind it. Whoa, hold on, pause. What's happening? Is this a meteor shower? Is it? Oh my goodness! Thank you, Tiffany.
Hey, that's a little racist.
Wait, what? No, I didn't mean that. No.
Would you have done that if there was someone else on the show? I mean, guys, chat. First of all, I'm Vietnamese. We don't even. We just shake hands like the rest of y'all. Tiffy, thank you so much. If you guys are listening, we had a $20 donation from Tiffy with Travels. She was the one that I was with at the SAR party. Super awesome human being.
Seriously, yeah. Thank you, Tiffy. While I get canceled, thank you.
You know what's so funny about Tiffy? Dude, I actually called her because she had left early, and this was when I was curled up in a little ball, and I'm like, who can I ask for help? Like, oh, Tiffy, she's a traveling nurse. So I literally called her, and I'm just like, help! I don't know what's wrong with me, but I feel like shit. I feel like crap, and just help. So shout out to Tiffy. Thank you so much for the $20 donation.
Yeah, seriously, and we don't actively plug stuff like that, but when it does happen, I want to express extreme gratitude for those of you who do want to financially support the podcast. It has happened, and we know a lot of you love to do that some way. You like to show us that appreciation. So just so you know, you can do that by, I believe in the chat. I think there in the chat window on YouTube, there's like a little like a give thanks or something like that. Like a tag, I can't remember how it's worded. Maybe I could look it up. But it's called Super Thanks, and that, let me see, what does it say? Oh, there's
Thanks
like a
for
little
the galaxy.
There's like a little right. Yeah, there's a $sign. That's what it is. You can click that, and if you do want to financially support us, you can do that, and we'll feature you. We'll show it your little bubble just like this, just like Tiffy did, and you'll be able to directly fund what we're doing here. And let me tell you guys exactly where that money goes. That will support the equipment that Tan and I use to make the podcast better. That might look like a new and upgraded microphone or a better lens or something like that. It could also contribute to potential guests that we bring on the show. And maybe there's a booking fee or potentially a traveling fee that maybe in the future when Tan and I do in-person podcasts, which is totally something we have in mind, that might help support it in that way. So it does not go to waste. It doesn't go somewhere else. It very much
What about
stays.
food?
Yeah, food. Yeah, travel fees. Maybe the little T-bell.
A little dollar menu. You know,
Yeah.
we'll be pretty conservative with how we spend our money. Don't worry.
Right.
All right, $2 and below is. But seriously, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Tiffy.
Yeah, the option is always there to give if that's how you like to show support. So thank you. To kind of bring it back around, but tie that in, we were talking about types of episodes that we do, and we were talking about doing astrophoto showcases, but also we like to have episodes where we have guests on it, spacey guests, people of interest in the space and astronomy worlds. That could mean any number of things. Like in the past, we've had a number of astrophotographers. We've had weightless zero-G flight crew members. We've had dark sky site advocates, all different types of people who just love the night sky like we do. And we are in the current process of bringing people on in different realms as well, like into the future episodes. So we like to do those guest episodes too. So yeah, that's what we do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, dude. So there was a whole list of things we want to talk about, dude. I know there was something about a second moon coming around. Earth has 2 moons now. What's that about?
This one's I'm gonna have to watch my temper in this one, man. Yeah, let's talk. Let's address this once and for all, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's clickbait, guys. This Straight up, the short of it, the too long didn't read, is that the second moon is clickbait. There are so many headlines right now, and this isn't the first time that media will do this, but
Yo,
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 yo.
Dude, that's a chalupa, man.
Yeah.
Let's go. Thank you so much, Blue Eyed Devil, for the
Thank you.
$1.99.
Oh, I gotta not do that. Yeah. He's gone. He's gone. Guys, I lost my co-host. I'm trying to... And that's the end of episode 19. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you
so
next
much
week
for
for
the,
episode 20.
The donation, Blue Eyed Devil.
Yes. Thank you so much, Steph. Thank you for supporting us with that. Super thanks.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, so sorry.
Oops. Oh yeah, I can only afford $1.99.
That goes. I mean, we're grateful. We're grateful for you just being here. Any penny is greatly appreciated. So the delay on this screen behind Tan is great. That's how I'm streaming on TikTok. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this.
Let's see how long this takes to show up. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Here it comes.
Crap.
There it is. Yeah.
Oh, we're like light years ahead.
That's like a good 5 to 7 seconds,
Yeah.
maybe more.
All right, so let's talk about the second moon.
Yeah.
It's basically clickbait, guys. There's a lot of hype right now about the second moon, and sorry to spoil, it's not a huge moon. That's like our moon, right? It's actually just a 33 feet across, roughly 10-meter asteroid. It's a mini moon, and we have hundreds and thousands of asteroids all the time, and tons of them are discovered every year. So this isn't anything special, but I think someone just decided to pick this up, make a really enticing headline, something along the lines of Earth's second moon will be visible until around Thanksgiving week or something like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's I mean, it's cool, but some things can be cool but not like newsworthy, I think. It's dim, and it's actually just like not really visible for most I'd say amateur astronomer. Like even with the telescope, I think if from what I remember, you would have to have like a really really gnarly telescope, and even then, professional equipment, and you would just resolve like a tiny little dot. So unfortunately, yeah, if you guys are listening and you're expecting like a whole other moon, like another one in the sky, sorry to break it up to you. It's not happening.
Yeah. It's insane how sensationalized some astronomical events are. And I don't know what part of our culture, like, I mean, it's the human nature, I suppose, that kicks in, and people just want to blow things out of proportion. I mean, it's of course, clicks equals money for news sources. So if there's like, even reputable news sources online that are posting something about, they just want to have that crazy headline. They just want to get you to their site and then add people, pay them money because there's a click. It's really what it's all about. And it just is so rough for people who are actually trying to spread truth about cool space events that are happening. Because, this is a cool event. It's a neat thing. It's cool to know that it's happening, but because it's not fake, but what uninformed and uneducated people say about it is fake. And that's where we lose the plot,
Yeah, it is kind of a bummer, man, because this isn't the first thing that I mean, this is a pretty common thing now, and in fact, like, I don't know why I still get surprised whenever these headlines come out, just because it happens so much, and it's kind of what you can expect now with the age of information, right?
Right.
Like literally anyone can just say anything, and it's just out there. So a lot of times, a lot of us kind of forget that, and whenever we see a headline, especially from like like a big what do you call it? I don't even want to call them journalists, like a big media, or a press release, whatever. We kind of just assume that, oh man, this is an article, so therefore it must be real. And
right.
Unfortunately, it's not just space; it's kind of just everything. But I feel like it's frustrating in astronomy because there are people who are interested in astronomy or who know a lot about it, and we see these things and we hear about it, and we kind of just it's just like a huge palm in the face. We're like, guys, why? Well, we're like swimming in an uphill battle because now whenever we do a live stream on like TikTok or wherever, we get hundreds of people in the chat saying, yo, show us the second moon or show us the face by the moon or whatever it is. And we're just like, where are you guys coming from? Like, what do you. So it's tough. It can be frustrating for sure.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's just one big relay race because this is going to be the current thing. And then in December, there's going to be another sensationalized space event and people are going to go for it. Like, what was the last one? There was another one this year. I feel like that was really like.
The Devil Comet, maybe?
Devil Comet.
I've heard some conspiracies about that one. Like an actual, like, devil. And it was literally just a nickname, like, because of how, like, the tail looked.
Right.
But people took that and they try to, like, say, oh, maybe it was a prophecy and this is like the second coming of whatever. You'll always hear something, man.
Right. Like I remember, like even I think was that last January 2023 there was the green comet. I can't remember which
was that Ponsbrooks?
Ponsbrooks.
Yeah, help us out, chat, if you know.
Maybe it was that one. I'm forgetting the name. Maybe it was like numbers. It was like Z1 or something.
ZTF.
ZTF. Yeah, there you
ZTF.
go.
Comet ZTF.
Totally. Like it had a green hue to it, and it kind of was like an orby looking thing, and everyone just called it the green comet.
The green comet.
And that headline became 1,000 different things. It was kind of annoying.
Yeah, and we're like, well, a lot of them are green.
Right.
Like,
it's
almost
a comet.
all of them. Yeah.
You know?
That's what they look like. Yeah, and then like, do you remember when there was like the Star of Bethlehem? A couple years. I think it was the conjunction. That's right. It was the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn.
Yes.
Did you get to see that?
I did. Yeah, that was December 2020, wasn't it? Or 2021?
Yeah, something like that. It was a few years ago, and it was cool. And naked eye, it truly did look like a star, just because they were so bright, really beautiful. But I know there's a lot of I don't know, conspiracies or a lot of stories that were kind of just given to it, when in reality it was just a simple conjunction, two planets being really close to each other.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to hold some kind of significant meaning. Not everything has to be like this crazy, I don't know, thing, conspiracy or whatever you want to call it.
Part of it is people just seek. There's like a I don't know how to word it properly, but they just seek this maybe like a validation, or again, it's a sensationalized feeling, and they just manufacture narratives to fulfill that need, and it's. You take something as simple as a green comet and make it a huge thing, or this devil comet. It's got the name devil in it, so let's like make it some spiritual conspiracy or spiritual like occurrence. Yeah, there's just a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, there's a big one right now. Have you heard of and I'm kind of entering the space, so it's a little new to me. It's still a little fresh, but I've been seeing a lot of Star of Jacob comments.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Tons. Like,
tell me about it.
If we go live on TikTok right now, like your normal stream where you're maybe showing the moon or something, I can almost guarantee you that you'll at least have 10 to 15 people ask about the Star of Jacob. So I don't know too much about it, and I'm not going to be here to dismiss your beliefs or whatever you believe in, but I will say, in the world of astronomy, things happen all the time. And there doesn't always need to be some kind of crazy prophecy attached to it. Kind of to what you were saying, I think humans do. I think we tend to like crazy stories. Like we like drama, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, there's like a story, and then like things are getting really intense. So when you kind of implement that in the world of just like news and politics or whatever it is, astronomy. It also gives that same flavor of, holy crap, like I might have an edge over the next guy because I know that this is going to happen. This was written years ago. It was prophesized that this would happen on this date. When in reality, I'm like, well, this was announced I think they were referring to the T Corona Borealis, the nova.
Yes.
Novas happen. Novas are not uncommon by any means.
No.
And in fact, I remember hearing about this early in the year, but no one was talking about it, about the Star of Jacob. It just so happened that maybe a few headlines decided to, like, hey, you know what? I think this will get a lot of attention if we just call it the Star of Jacob and let's add this to it. It gets picked up by a few people on TikTok or whatever social media you use. Next thing you know, it is a wildfire, and everyone is like, "Oh my God, this guy is onto something." So there's tons of misinformation out there,
Right.
and to those of you guys listening, I mean, in astronomy, it is really tough because we like science, and we also understand that sometimes science will learn things that may disprove other things. But until then, like we like scientific fact, you know, and it's frustrating when you have to swim an uphill battle and try to tell people that this isn't some crazy prophecy. It is simply just nature, you know.
Mhm.
So it's yeah, man. It's if you get a chance, just hop on like TikTok and just watch people's streams. You'll see tons of Star of Jacob comments.
Yeah, I think I kind of pieced together in my head because of what you were saying, what I was trying to get out earlier, which is space is, as we've talked about, it's the final frontier, as you know, it's kind of culturally referred to as it's the ultimate frontier, right? It is the unknown barrier. There's only so far we've gone. There's only so far we can view, but we have no solid understanding of what is out there, why it works. We're beginning to have an understanding of it. We've certainly have more of an understanding than we had 100 years ago. But because it's so unknown, there's always that human reach to just explain it. It's the pareidolia effect. We talk about this all the time. If you see a cloud, you have to put a shape to it. Why? Because it drives humans mad to have something that has a shape that has no name or has no identity. That looks like an elephant, that cloud. Why? Because it looks like there's a trunk and there's legs and it looks like an elephant. Like we clamor for it. We need it. We need explanation. So when something crazy happens that we don't understand, like you can be outside and you see this giant fireball going across the sky. If you don't know what that is, what's the first thing you're going to think? What do you think humans tried to think? The gods are mad at us. You know, like it's that level of let's write a story to fill it because we have no better information, no solid understanding of what that actually is. And then, you know, for us, that's as simple as going, oh no, that's actually just a space rock that was floating through space really fast, interacted with our atmosphere, burned up on reentry, and you saw it. Ares is not angry at us or whatever, you know, like whatever it was, 4,000 years ago. But we always love to create this narrative, and it's primarily rooted in one thing, and I think it's fear.
Ooh,
You know, like, which is, I'm getting deep now. Like I'm really getting deep here. I think we devise narratives because we're afraid of what we don't understand.
yes.
And astronomy is this wonderful mix of mythology and science because, like, obviously it's a highly scientific realm, astronomy, and cosmology. But look at all the names of the constellations, a lot of the names of our celestial objects. They're named after mythological beings, entities, creatures. Like, it's rooted in the ancient ways, the things that were designed out of fear and storytelling because we didn't understand it any better. I think it's the same thing that sensationalized clickbait news is doing today. It's the same pareidolia effect. We just have to assign it a name and a story so that people identify with it, so they can have at least some cheap explanation or label for something that they don't understand. That's my rant. I don't know. That's
Well said. I can agree more, man. It's almost like low-hanging fruit. It's like the easiest. It's just easier to grasp to like a crazy thing than to try to actually take the time to learn, and that's what's so frustrating. And like a good example, a good example of me realizing this. So when I was at the Star Party, there was a lecture, some scientist, and he's actually talking about how we like our technology to defend from like asteroids. So like let's just say there was a huge rock coming right at space or right at Earth, right? Like what would we do, right?
Yep.
And there's all these calculated graphs and all these very scientific things that they explain to you literally like they'll hold your hand and explain every single step of it of how it was like the was it the DART mission? Yeah, it was the DART mission, and like how we can actually shoot out like a projectile and like offset the orbit of certain things. And it was like it was like an hour long, and I'm listening to it, and it was so much information, and it was so fascinating. And it sucks because there are some people who will never even be willing to listen to that because they are so surface level with, oh, this like Earth, or let's just say like if they don't believe in space, like, oh, it's not real. And, we live inside a dome. They're not even willing to listen to some of these scientists that spend all their blood and sweat living like their whole entire life dedicated to things like this simply because of I mean, I call it just low hanging fruit. It's just easier. It's fear. It's like, well, I don't believe this. And a whole bunch of people made some really enticing videos on YouTube with creepy music. So that must be true. And it's so insulting and extremely frustrating because that is just like one layer of so many other things that people just don't believe in. I'm if you're listening to this, I am not here to change anyone's mind. I believe everyone should have the right to believe what they want, but I just kindly ask that you truly research and do it with an open mind. And if you are someone who is not, if you're like anti-science or anti-space, I promise you, if you just join an astronomy club, I'm not telling you to believe whatever, if you simply just join an astronomy club and listen to some of these people talk about space, you'll realize that, holy crap, we don't know everything, but we do know a lot, man. We are actually very smart, capable human beings. And it just kind of makes me sad whenever I see people that are just so quick to dismiss science because of, I don't know, because of some very intriguing conspiracy.
Right? Like, if I were to pretend I am a scientific publication or some news source that is based in science, and I were to say to you, Tan, we just discovered an asteroid. It's on a similar orbit to Earth, and it's going to be approaching Earth's orbit later this year. And in 10,000 years, it could hit Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the text that it reads. What's the number one chunk of that's going to be taken away by most people on the internet? Like, if you had to pick a few of those words, what's the one thing that they're going to take away from that? It could hit Earth.
Yeah.
So they're going to walk away.
That's the only thing I would probably
yeah, right. Like, asteroid could hit Earth. They're not going to pay attention to the part that says in 10,000 years, there's a possibility it could hit Earth or something like that. It's like, that's what happens. It's that selective reading and selective listening.
Such a good example, dude. Yeah.
Right. And it happens
Armageddon.
all the time. Right. Armageddon. Right. I don't know why people just are unwilling to have the patience to interpret available information properly. It would help a lot.
Yeah, dude, I love that example so much because you just kind of made it so easy to digest. It's literally selective. What did you call it? Selective wording or selective interpretation
reading or selective listening?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that happens so much. And look, in a lot of people's defense, sometimes it's at the fault of these creators.
Mm-hmm.
There are people out there that know that a catchy headline or a very enticing video or whatever it is going to, I hate to say it, but it's going to make them money.
Yep.
In this day and age, all it takes is just a viral video, and honestly, like, you could like some people's lives are changed. And let's just say you post a video of, like, I don't know, an alien or something coming, like the moon exploding or whatever it is, right? Some fake video. And you just got a $7,000 check from TikTok, Instagram, whatever. one, you could say, "Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna go back to posting videos about my puppy, or I'm gonna post. I'm gonna get inspired and post space facts, or I can make a lot of more of those videos." I mean, naturally, a lot of people are gonna choose the latter, and a lot of times when I see when I'm scrolling, I'll see one really crazy conspiracy video, and how I usually know is right off the bat is if they start off with like they don't want you to see this, and there'll be some creepy music, right? If you guys ever see a video like that, before you believe it and like show all your friends and family, try clicking on that person's name and looking at their other videos. A lot of times you'll see that all their videos are suddenly like that, and you realize that a lot of these are monetized, and it sucks, man. And like actually, like I can't stand people that do that. It's tricky with like content creation because it's like the free speech, right? You have the right to make whatever you want. But dude, like you're doing us such a disservice by literally like brainwashing people and feeding actual crap to other people that will eat this up. And like I see with creators, even on like TikTok, man, I'm like, you guys could be like, we're supposed to be in the same fight, but you're making it really, really tough for us by just, I don't know, man, going against the grain and making really like engaging videos. But look, if you're listening, just be careful with the kind of stuff you consume. Just know that a big part of any kind of like media that you see, sometimes like there's money attached to it. Money is unfortunately a big part of it, a big part of content creation. And sometimes some of the craziest things that you've seen are most likely only made with one thing in mind, is your views, your clicks, your money.
This is like, I don't, I'm about to make a reference here that I don't know if it's the right reference to make, but I'm going to make it anyway because it popped in my head. But there's that Russian proverb, trust but verify. Again, I don't know if that's the right reference to be making right now, but there is some credence to it. Like, just verify.
Agreed.
Like, you can read something and trust it. You can take it for what it is at surface value, so trust it. But then be willing to go a level deeper, like Tan said. Like,
Yeah, do a little bit DD. Yeah,
Yep.
do your due diligence.
Yep. Oh man, dude, yeah, it's wild, and the list of conspiracies is so long. Like I was mentioning to you earlier, Tan, today that like earlier this year in the spring there was a huge thing about rust on the moon. Everyone was going nuts about there being rust on the moon.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was like proving and disproving a bunch of stuff, which there is scientific reasoning for there being rust on the moon, which was like super interesting to learn about. But there's stuff like that. I've been seeing things more recently today with these crazy hurricanes happening in the Gulf. There's people talking about controlling the weather and how all the weather is being impacted. The governments are controlling the weather. And how those things are impacting the solar storms are gonna wipe out everything. That's another big one. Is a lot of people are pretty worked up about these geomagnetic storms affecting. Yeah. Like there was that one back in May when we had that beautiful aurora display that happened all across the world. That same time, I remember being live on TikTok and people just going crazy, asking in the comments, like, is this going to knock out the internet? Is the communications around the world going to go down from this? And we're like, no, it's not there. But there was all this misinformation going out about how these things could do that. And it's
fear mongering, I think, man.
Yeah. And it's, again, the lists, it grows ever longer.
Yeah. Blue, I'd mentioned this in the chat earlier, just on a much smaller level, even like the pink moon, right? Or the blue moon. There are times people were like, oh, how come this moon doesn't look like a strawberry? But like, I think they genuinely, well, maybe they don't genuinely believe that it looks like a strawberry, but they do genuinely expect like a pink moon or sometimes even like a blue moon, right? And there's just, I think we just do our best to educate as much as we can. And, what I think my biggest gripe on the conspiracies is that it is impossible to try to educate. So like for example, like I know if I got into like a debate with let's just say like a flat earther, right, or some crazy conspiracist, I would lose because they're gonna bring up talking points that are just so out of this world, and I'm not gonna know what to say. And on like from a like outside level, it's like, oh well, they're winning this debate, so therefore, this is true. It's because like they're gonna bring up some of the craziest things that just wouldn't make sense. It's like me trying to argue with a cat and bring up like some crazy like geometry, and the cat doesn't know how to respond. So, oh, see, this cat doesn't know about obtuse angles. So, boom, I win. This is all fake, and it's just like, no, man. Like you guys are just almost. It's just a case of reaching so far. And again, there's just something interesting about conspiracies.
Yep.
I love conspiracies. I hope you guys aren't listening to this. Like, I'm very open-minded, but I will wear my tinfoil hat, and perhaps I might believe in some conspiracies that are also false, just because I enjoy them. But I also remember that not every conspiracy has to be real. I think we've forgotten that conspiracies at one point used to be called conspiracies because that's just what they are, and now it's becoming a thing where every one of them has to be real. I don't know where I'm going with this, man. I'm just getting pumped up and
No, dude, I love it. I love what you're saying. Because I mean, like, I have to believe, and I don't have the answer to this. I have to believe that there were conspiracies that turned out to be right. Right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat knows of one that was highly public. That somebody had this huge thing, and then it actually ended up exposing the truth, and it happened to be in line. That's. I certainly don't believe that all conspiracies are wacky. But I think there's a very, very slim chance that most conspiracies are true. And like we were saying earlier, if you have enough motive, and if certainly if your motivation is money, and that's not the case for all things, all conspiracies, but if your motivation is strong enough, you can manufacture a narrative to control for influence. And like you were saying, Tan, like sometimes you feel like even if you brought enough evidence, like the conspiracy side can always come back with more reasons. Even if it's not evidence,
Correct.
there's always a reason to like outdo your evidence because you can manufacture it on the fly. You don't actually have to. It takes effort to generate true fact and true evidence. That takes time, it takes study, it takes observation, and you can come with a crazy reason. Like like if you made up a conspiracy to me right now and you'd be like, dude, if you said, Nick, I don't think that is a Lego behind you, that space station right here, I don't think that's a Lego. I think that is a hologram. I'd be like, no, because there's bricks and, I bought it. I have the receipt and I built it and I have a video of me building it. You could come up with an excuse all day to support what you believe more than the actual evidence I have.
and probably still somehow win that argument.
Right.
If I was good enough, if I was socially and skilled with my communication, yeah, I think I could say, oh, did you know that actual bricks, Legos, are actually this very small, it contains a small element of like plastic that's called photopsychia, and if you have this under certain conditions, it actually you can literally go on, and then like how are you going to respond to that? You're going to be like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Exactly, it's fake.
You're right. Right.
Yeah, I'm not Asian.
Or
yeah, like you could argue with anything.
Or you could say, because you can't touch that, it's not real. You could do something like that too, where it's like, well, I can't touch it, so it's not real. It's not a Lego.
Yeah.
And like I can't disprove that to you because I can't hand this to you right now. Like my evidence is not passable. Right.
Yeah.
Like I literally can't transfer it to you. So it gets crazy. And
what's the solution, Nick?
Well, I'm actually going to quote you here because I think the solution is how you tend to handle things in your live streams, because you have it's a welcoming spirit and an open mind, and just enjoying the conversation, but seeing people as humans on the other side of it. I think that's the best thing I can come up with, because nobody's going to talk the other person off the ledge. Like in those debates, like it's always whoever wins is up to the individual. It is purely subjective. So there could be 100 people watching a debate, a conspiratorial debate. That's 100 different verdicts. There's not going to be one clear verdict across the whole plane there. So I think the quicker that the people discussing or debating, or however you want to look at it, can see the other person as a human, that's when you get to the root of it. That's how you solve it. It's like, because those people, if you can recognize the human being on the other side of the conversation, that's when you go, okay, we can think differently, but we can appreciate and support each other and give each other the space to listen and hear you out, even if we don't agree. That's my best thing. But you do that in your chats, because when you are live streaming, I've seen how people can chime in with their input, and it tends to differ from science and the approach that you take. But you handle it so gracefully, and you always make the space for people, and I love it. So I think you're an excellent example of that.
I appreciate it, man. I think it is important to kind of reveal that human side, because that is, I mean, that's the best way you can kind of just get to the core of the discourse. So often we're kind of just ready to showcase our proof on whatever it is, right? Like, hold on, did you know about this though? It's like, well, hold on, like maybe it isn't, maybe the proof, not that it doesn't matter, but we'll get to that. But let's get to why we believe this in the first place. What is it that caused you to believe this? Is it a mistrust of government? Did you know what I mean? Like, there's always, I feel like you have to get to the root. And a lot of times I just feel like it's the natural human trait of just wanting to fit in with a tribe, or maybe wanting to help. Because I think at the end of the day, well, a lot of these people that I run into, they're not evil people. They're people just like us. Like, they have families, they have their dads, their moms, whatever. But they somewhere down the road, they ran into an obstacle where it kind of made them rethink differently. They had a change of heart, and they started to stop trusting stuff, and they kind of closed down. And whenever you're in that, naturally, if you're closed off to like a certain group of people, you're still going to want to find a tribe, because we're creatures, we're tribal creatures. So it's like, well, if these guys don't like me, how about these guys over here that happen to believe the same thing that I do, and they're finding more like proof of this stuff. So it's kind of just, you're kind of just stuck in this, like, I guess, echo chamber. And it's tough, man. I think I'm just gonna say one last thing about this. And again, I am never going to try to like change anyone's opinion on anything, because that is not my place to do so. I will just kindly ask that if you guys are listening, for those of you guys out there, whenever you come across anything, trust but verify. It literally, like, you can just take it for a grain of salt, but don't go full on to the wall and share it with everyone, because then because you kind of become part of that problem. You're actually just helping spread that fire, because other people are going to see that and they're going to react the same way. But maybe like do a little bit of research. And unfortunately, I have to say this, but researching isn't like how it used to be. I feel like there was a time where I could quickly fact check something. I can go to a library. I can easily go on Google and type in like if this is fake or not. And with how saturated media is, sometimes you have to sift through a lot of BS. And even then, you could argue like, oh, why do I have to go to 5 pages just to find this one thing? Like, maybe there's some truth to there being so much information in this. Maybe it is true. It just sucks, man. It's kind of like it's just a tough time to be in. And like with AI coming out and everything, I just feel like it's not going to get any easier. But we will always do our best to educate. And I think you guys, we all kind of have to hold the standard too, every single one of us. Because all it takes is just one person to hear something. And if you send them down like the rabbit hole, that could spark a whole other army.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so true. It made me think of two, like, I don't know, phrases. They're phrases. Or like mantras that I know I've mentioned one or both of them at some point, but the first one is seek to understand. And I'm pretty sure I've said that before, but like it was something I heard from a former coworker years ago, and he always used that because it speaks to that, like, see the other person on the other side. Like, if you don't agree with somebody or you don't understand what they're saying or why they're saying that, just like the verb seek, that means like actually put effort. Like, if you're seeking, like, imagine if you like threw a baseball out into a field of tall grass. Like, you don't just stumble upon it. You could, it'd be really hard, but like you have to seek it. You have to sift through the tall grass. You have to look. Maybe you have to I don't. You have to use a tool or something like to cut down the grass. Like that takes effort. Like seeking takes effort. So seeking to understand, and then again, the second verb, understand, in that phrase, like what does that actually mean? It means getting to know the human behind it, getting to know their motive and their perspective. So make the effort to understand their perspective. And I think that I just love that phrase so much. And I try to stick to it as much as I can in any conversation. And the second thing, and it kind of resonates on what you were saying before, there's another phrase I heard was like, it's the thing beneath the thing, which means there's always a reason for something happening, and it goes tiers deeper. It made me think of like an example. Like imagine if somebody out in public, maybe at in a grocery store parking lot, like somebody gets really mad at somebody for leaving their cart in front of their car when they're like trying to back out or something. And the guy gets out of the car and starts yelling and shouting and like teeing off. Like, obviously that's not a good scene. Like there's anger, there's violence. It's not going to get resolved peacefully. You could be like, well, that guy's a jerk. The end. But to apply that, the thing beneath the thing, like it's likely that the person who's teeing off, like obviously they have a reason that triggered it, but they're angry because maybe that day they got in a fight with their spouse and they never resolved it. So they're just like really fired up and we're like on thin ice as it is. But there's even something deeper beneath that. Like the reason for them teeing off at the grocery store is not because they had a fight with their spouse. It's because they had maybe unresolved parenting trauma that told them not how there was no actual teaching for how to process conflict, which leads to anger, which they were taught not how to properly handle that. So when they get in a fight with their spouse, then they don't know how to process that anger. Then they go to the grocery store and someone puts a cart in front of their car and then they tee off on them. Like that was like 4 tiers of things beneath the thing. But if you can get to the root of it, you can help people get there. And you can see that person. That's where the seeking to understand is. Like if you can see the human being and seek to understand why they did the thing that they did in the way that they did, then you can engage in a true conversation and find the like deep connection between the human being. Even if you're a conspiracy theorist or you're a science evidence person, like you guys can find common ground if you can go through those things. I don't know. Just random thoughts. I'm going nuts, dude.
Dude, I think we both are. This is good. This is us literally going and reaching for those deep levels. Everything you said, man, was so true, and I really wish, everyone had this mentality. And it's easier said than done. You're not gonna always walk around because we run into so many people. Think of how many people you run into on a daily basis. If you work outside, right, grocery store, whatever. You're not always going to treat every single person as, oh my God, I don't know what they're going through. They might have 7 different things, and you're not going to always try to like psychologically like break down and analyze everything. Mm-hmm. But you also don't have to react to certain things that you naturally would. Like what I mean is, you're right. I think everyone has some kind of trauma. And I think that's the biggest thing. Even as adults, sometimes I like to think we all have like a tiny little child version of ourselves, and we don't know these things because it's how we are. We were raised this way. Just like how you wouldn't know if like you kind of smelled bad, or someone would have to tell you, right? Like you're not gonna know if you have food on your teeth. Someone has to tell you. So a lot of times whenever we run into these situations where people do tell us, we just don't know how to handle it. We might get offended. We might feel like we're up against a wall. So we kind of react like how we would when we were younger. We just do it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think my solution is just try, like you were saying, just try to see the human on the other side of it. And I know this is not always going to work. Mm-hmm. You might try your best, and the other person might be like, I don't believe you. Like the Earth is a hologram. I know this for a fact. And unfortunately, that is just that I feel like that's just a battle that you can't win. And I just think sometimes you have to walk away just for your own sanity, because if you're here trying to save the world and trying to like do the right thing and try to educate and convince people that this is factual, whatever, they might see the same thing. Like, dude, this guy is trying to just shove all this misinformation at me, and in fact, it might make it worse because you're trying so hard. Like, why is he trying so hard to get me to believe that the Earth is actually a globe? So,
Yeah.
choose your battles, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. It takes two to tango, right? Like there's two-way road. You gotta be able to meet the other person at some compromised level to have that point. And if one is not willing to, then yeah, I think for the sake of health and safety,
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes it's okay to walk away, and that's okay. Like better than throwing a fist.
Yeah. There's a good question here. Let's see. I like this.
What's up, Moonlegs? How's it going, man?
Moonlegs was at the Star Party. Super, super cool, dude. Him and Ambassador. Good human beings. Here's a question from the chat from JC. Jason Cerulo. That was one of his nicknames. Where do you want the community to be in the next few years? How can we improve as a community?
Excellent question. Thank
That's
you.
a tough
for
one, man.
submitting
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny. Like, let me start with this. Like, by a community, I'm assuming you're referring to as like the astronomy community.
That's where I was thinking.
Yeah. And it's funny because since I kind of joined it publicly, for me, that was like about, a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit more. Like, it's changed drastically in that year and a half. And I won't go into it, but like there's so much to change because
No, go into it, bro.
no, we're already neck deep, man. Yeah, it's like, but yeah, I mean, like there's like people change and people evolve and events happen, relationships come and go. There's things that happen, and like current events influence a lot of that, as we've been talking about. People adopt beliefs and understandings and. Like human communities, we're kind of hive minds in a way, but they're and we're living organisms as a whole. So like if you're looking at astronomy community, I would say, we're not impervious to a norovirus per se that can penetrate the collective hive mind of understanding, right? Like,
Yeah.
So our community is going to look different in a year and a half, just like it did a year and a half ago. So like in both directions, it's gonna just be different. So how it is today it's not gonna be the same tomorrow or in a year and a half or in 10 years. How can we improve? I think my best answer, if I can come up with a succinct on the spot result there, is take everything day by day with a hefty dose or hefty spoonful of grace for one another. I think that's it. That's all I got. Dan, what do you got?
Dude, I mean that was good. My answer is gonna be tied into the same thing. At the core, and this goes for like whether astronomy community or just a community as a whole. Because right now, like I think we are having a hard time agreeing with each other. Like I don't want to get political, but it's no secret that there's just this hard divide, right? We've just forgotten that. We've forgotten how to agree to disagree. And like one could argue, oh, well, why would you agree with this? Because it's so bad. And like if you want to go that route, you're gonna kind of miss the whole point. As a whole, we are literally just tiny lumps of meat on this planet. Our only option, like our only way to improve, is to work together. That like you can be a lone wolf for just only so much time. After a while. Yes, there might be another wolf that might steal more of your food, or you maybe stealing your girl or whatever. But you are gonna hunt together, man. We are tribal. We have to work as a community. And again, I know this is gonna be easier said than done, but we just have to be more relatable as human beings versus like our beliefs. We are so quick to just like it's like we're holding all of our opinions like for everyone to see. And before we even get to know someone, we're like, "Oh, look, this is what I believe in. This is where I stand." And if you don't see that, then you're automatically like my enemy. I just feel like after COVID, dude, I've never seen this in my life. Well, granted, I haven't lived a long life yet, but I've seen families just split apart just simply because of politics. And I've seen people split when it comes to like believing things in astronomy. Some people maybe they don't really dig the whole science thing anymore, and they find comfort in, like, I don't know, anti-science, or vice versa. I think the sooner that we actually get to know each other on a more personal level of like, well, maybe, okay, fine, maybe you believe this, but I don't, and that's okay. But let's talk about why you believe that. Let's get to the root of the problem. And it works both ways. Let's get to why we feel this way. And the more we do that, I think the better chance we'll have at having a conversation. And that's a win right there. It's just simply having conversation. Because we usually don't get there. It's usually a debate. It's usually very people, and you'll see this in a lot of debates. People will get really heated. And they'll get to the point where they're like starting throwing names because it's easy just to call the other person some words than to say, "Hey, I don't believe you, but let's talk about why I don't. Here's why I don't believe this. Oh, that's very interesting. I never looked at it that way, but here's why I think this is wrong." We've just forgotten how to do that, and that is the most like critical thing that we lack as a civilization. But long-winded. I think we just I think the more we try to relate to each other as human beings, as one, the more prone we are to having better discourse.
Beautifully
Good
said.
question.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's a
question.
tough one, man.
Yeah, there's probably a slew of correct answers there,
And real quick, I'd also like to, I'm kind of open to hear what the chat thinks too. I know some of you guys are here on TikTok. If you guys are here, hello. We're on the other platform, but we would love for you guys to give us some love. We do these space podcast streams every Monday night at 9 p.m. Central. I know tonight kind of took an interesting turn, and we're talking more of conspiracy and a little more philosophical, but I think it's important. We can kind of, it's all connected. But let me know in the chat, how can we just improve as a community, specifically space, but how can we do better, guys? All right, what are your thoughts?
We want to hear from you guys. The word community, it doesn't mean personalities like me or Tan.
Excuse me.
I
like almost just threw up in my mouth, bro.
No.
The norovirus is back.
No. I'm gonna shut down my computer and restart it now. But the word community implies like common, like the root word of that, right, is common. Like we share our common ground because it's many people. So you guys who are out there listening on whatever platform, you're part of the community for a reason. Your voice is equally as important as us or any other person who has a platform. And we want to make sure you guys have a chance to participate in that. So yeah, please comment, let us know what you think.
Dude, this is completely off topic, but there's a meteor shower going on right now. If you guys are listening, we actually have the it's either pronounced the Draconids or the Draconids, constellation of Draco, which is pretty high up towards the north. I know this is a little late, so if you guys are listening, you're like, maybe after the show you can go out and look up. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of mention that, like, oh, there's a meteor shower that's peaking right now.
Dude, yeah, is this how would this one compare to the Perseids in August?
Oof, this one is a minor shower. So I think they said on ideal conditions you can expect to see around 10 meters per hour. Perseids, it was like 80 to 100 plus hour for meteors. So
wow.
Not even up in the same league, but it's still always worth watching.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if you guys get clear skies, it's been a pretty good run here in the central U.S. this past week and leading into this week coming up. Just good, solid weather, beautiful autumn skies. Don't miss your chance to see some meteors. Maybe it's your first time. It's worth the effort. Stay up a little later than usual. It's okay. You'll survive tomorrow. Make sure you get coffee on the way to work or something. But like, go lay in your yard. Do something you've never done before and just unplug your mind. Stare into the deep blackness of outer space and tune into nature for just a little bit. Maybe give yourself an hour. If you go to bed at 10, stay up to 11 or adapt that however you want. And just let the experience come to you. We've talked about meteor showers in past episodes. They're like a free fireworks show in your own backyard, and that's what's cool is this thing comes to you wherever you are. The darker skies you're in, the better. So get away from city lights, get away from parking lot lights, things like that will improve your chances of seeing something. And of course, please let us know what you guys see. Leave a comment on this YouTube video, because after this stream is done tonight, you guys can come right back here and watch the replay if you want. And comment and tell us if you saw any of the. I'm gonna say draconid. I also don't know how to say it either. I'm gonna say draconid just for the sake of it. Like if you saw any draconid meteors, let us know. We want to share it, and maybe we'll talk about it next week.
Yep.
Feature some of those comments.
We got a few responses here that I'd love to highlight.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool with you.
Do it. Yeah.
Going back to just how do we improve? Let's start with Kayla here.
Yep.
How do I pin this again? Here we go. Kayla says, grace. Having it for yourself and for others, and actually believing others have grace for you. I like that a lot.
The second half of that is what sticks out to me is believing that others have grace for you. There's the trust component.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to have trust for someone you don't know, and especially to have trust with someone who just fired a shot at you, right?
Yeah.
Like someone who took a stab or made a claim perhaps about you and your beliefs, but to trust that they're going to meet you in that two-way road. And have
But just imagine if you guys both have that mentality and you get to the point where you can have a conversation, just how much more powerful that is, knowing that, oh, wow, this person met me halfway.
Mm-hmm.
And that person is thinking the same thing. Like, hey, maybe you aren't so cuckoo after all. Maybe we disagree on things, but at least we can acknowledge that we're humans, and and it's okay that we don't necessarily agree on the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pin this one from JC here. What I would like to see in the astronomy community is more inclusivity. I see a lot of "you're not on my level, so you don't know what you're talking about."
Mm-hmm.
Oof. I see that a lot too. Unfortunately, in not just astronomy, but sometimes there are just know-it-alls. I think that's just with any kind of group of people. There's always different flavors, and some people might have this mindset. I don't know. What do you think, Nick? How do you how does one alleviate this or work around this?
You're not on my level. You don't know what you're talking about.
I've been shooting the moon for 5 years longer than you, so shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. This is where I think you have to do gauge. Like, is this wiser to walk away if this person's not willing to?
I probably would
see reason. I think reason and stability has to be a priority in a moment like that. But yeah, and I mean, a lot of people, you never know who's on the other side of a digital comment. Like somebody who might comment like that literally might be an 8-year-old. and nothing against 8-year-olds; they're wonderful human beings. However, their cerebral cortex or frontal cortex is not developed. And certainly not their social experience. It just being kooky and trying to give some example, but like, there's, you don't know who's on their side, and until you know enough about them, it's hard to want to engage with that. And that might be a scenario where I'll be like, yeah, probably not the best thing, but, I think it's still fair to make space, and I think you could possibly say, invite them in with a question that takes it to a more civil place, and if they don't reciprocate, then it'd be like, okay, yeah, no, not worth it. Because if you're just there to pick fights, then you're just there to pick fights.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the tough thing about the internet too. A lot of this would be, I think, a lot easier if we were, like, imagine if we were live streaming and all of us were sitting in a room in person. I think having that discourse would be so much easier versus on the internet, because the internet's the Wild West. For one, everyone's a keyboard warrior. You can say whatever. You can easily misread someone. Things can get lost in translation. There are just so many elements that make it already tough to communicate through, DMs or just in the chat versus in person. You can't see their emotion. Like, they could say something, and they could reply with just K, And one person might be like, "Oh my God, you're gonna give me a one letter answer, really, bro?" And
Yeah.
but maybe they're just saying like, "Oh, that's enough. That's all I need to say." So like it's tough, but I agree with you. I think sometimes you just gotta kind of read the room, read the person, and gauge whether it's even worth it to you know engage.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to throw up Tiffy's real quick. Spreading education is the best thing I can think of. Spreading it often and showing people the true side of astronomy. Like what I've seen with people teaching the missing moon wasn't real for reference. Yeah. Spreading education. Like there's going to always be an output, some quantifiable output of misinformation. I think there is sometimes a submissive nature to legitimate creators who are trying to educate, who might be like, well, it's just not worth combating, so I won't make my video that's actually giving evidence for a claim, a scientific claim. But I think there is a duty and a responsibility to people who actually have an education to make that effort and to make sure there is a balanced pH in the community of truth and misinformation. Try to not to combat it, but to, again, balance. I think balance is the best word for it. So if you have the platform and you have the education, I think there is a safe and dutiful responsibility to do your best to educate people, whether it's in the comments of a live stream chat, or if it's by making a video, starting a community, going to an astronomy club and giving a talk, whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of ways to do that.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback what you're saying, Avoy here made a really awesome comment. Tell me why I'm wrong and correct me with compassion. Don't flash your credentials at me. That's a logical fallacy. Show me, don't tell me. I think correct me with compassion is huge, because I just don't see a lot of that. I see you're wrong, so you're dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, how do we get here? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's like grown people are just acting like children, and it sucks because like people watch this, and naturally you're gonna kind of retain that. You're gonna run into a conversation where it might be similar, and then you're also you're gonna flash back to how that person reacted, and you're also gonna do the same thing. You're gonna say, "Oh, I heard this, so this person's wrong." So you're all, you know what I mean? Like you kind of just we're like sponges still, Like we will, if you're surrounded by enough like really heated debates, when you get in one, you're probably gonna act the same way. But if we can do our best to try to correct people and understand where they're coming from, and I think just listening is probably the biggest thing that anyone can do is actively listening, and not just kind of waiting to listen to them and then like waiting to figure out like, oh, I can't wait to reply to this one. I'm totally gonna win this one. Like actually listen to the person and try to see where they're coming from, even if it's not like something you agree with. You can still correct them, but do it from a place of compassion.
I want to give bonus props here to correct me with compassion. That phrase. Bonus points for the consonants and the alliteration, the double C in that phrase. That just makes it that much sweeter. So that for the English majors out there, huge points. That there's no substance to that comment. My comment whatsoever? That's just me being a nerd. Let me push my glasses real quick. Also, I love the word fallacy. That is a fantastic word. It's a great English word. I remember learning that in my English class, and like it's one of those searing words. It's like if you could just say falsehood or lie, but like if you drop word fallacy, it's like that's
dang, bro.
That's
fallacy.
It's like taking it to the next level. Yeah,
I like it.
Good English in that comment.
Yeah, dude, this has been a really fun night. I just want to give a huge shout out to the people on TikTok here. I see that, dude. I didn't realize there's 40 people on TikTok.
Dude, 40? What?
Yeah, I can't see your chat right now because we are mainly streaming on YouTube. But for those of you guys watching, just know that we appreciate you. Again, if you guys hop over here, we'll be able to see your comments. But if you prefer over there, that's completely fine. I just kindly ask that you do show some love and maybe subscribe to the Galactic Window Space Podcast here, because we will be doing streams we'll be putting out videos every Monday night at 9 p.m. Central. So if you guys like listening to this stuff, if you need something to listen to the background while you're cooking or on your way to work, we would love for your support over here.
Yeah, and here on YouTube on the channel, the
JC.
Galactic window gets put to it gets posted to the Orbital Alliance YouTube channel, which is mine. You can go to my channel here and subscribe to it. You'll find a playlist of all so far 19 episodes of the Galactic Window Space Podcast.
19, baby.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, like
What a trip.
We're getting there, and each one is worth listening to, worth watching. So be sure to go back and watch some of those replays. They're getting numerous. Dude,
Chance, yo, what's good? Chance came over from TikTok. That's awesome.
Oh, nice. Yeah, welcome. Thank you guys so much.
Actually, real quick, I have not looked at who's all in here. Let's see. Chance, Sinbella, Bama Girl, Milky Way Mama. Oh man, I've been neglecting you guys this whole time.
Dude, is that
Mimi's
Annette?
in here?
What's going on, Annette?
Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you for listening to us. Yeah, dude, we've been talking for almost 2 hours.
Dude, oh my gosh, hour 48. Well, okay, I want to go. I want to scroll up in the chat here. I'm going to rewind because there was something I missed here. Yeah. Yeah. There was a comment made by JC here. I'm going to pull it up here. Nick kind of looks like Captain America, not going to lie.
Bro.
So I saw that earlier and I was laughing. That's not the first time I've gotten that. It started popping up about 10 years ago when the second Captain America movie came out. The Winter
Can we
Soldier.
pull up a photo real quick? Hang on.
So yeah, hang on. So yeah, we had people were kind of talking about it. It's a thing. I feel like I get it. Like I have some similarities to Chris Evans. I have a bigger nose than him, and he's got bigger arms. Those are the big primary differences. But I did find some pictures from a while back because I want to prove that this is not just something that came up on the spot. So I'm going to showcase some images here. So this is like literally 10 years ago.
Dude.
So I went as Captain America for Halloween. I showed up at work dressed like this, full blown adult job, an office job. It was like Captain America in his outfit from the second movie. So here we go. I'm going to show this. There's me 10 years ago. Yeah. So I tried to match the outfit as best I could. And there was that.
Dude, that's awesome.
So I did the side by side, but I also got to showcase this real quick. I'm gonna actually just drop our image.
Dude, that's so awesome.
And then this is that same job. My last day of work. So I worked there for 3 years. I put in my 2 weeks notice when I was leaving to go for a different job. And my last day of work, I showed up dressed like this.
Dude,
I went out with a bang. I showed up with Captain America.
chill. My girl's watching this, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Chill, dude.
Yeah. I showed up with Captain America suspenders, an America bow tie, and the shield. And if I hadn't put in my 2 weeks notice, I most certainly would have been fired that day. So
Stunt double.
I had to show that just
I love that.
for fun. Yeah.
Dude, you got to dress up as Captain America for this upcoming Halloween.
I would. I still have the shield. It's in the other room, but yeah, I need to do some lifting in the next 3 weeks before Halloween to kind of balance out the image.
Dude, I want to show you a photo. This is something that for the longest time I got away with. Let me see if I can present this. Share screen. Just tell me if this looks like me. This is
Okay. I'm ready.
Let's see here. Is this it? Okay, here we go. Can you see this?
Yeah.
So all I typed in was Asian mullet. But,
no, you didn't.
But I uploaded this as my profile picture back in the day on Facebook, like when I still used it, and everyone was like, "Dude, nice haircut." And I was waiting, and like they just ran with it. It's such a gnarly hair. Though.
Oh my gosh!
Look what Ashley said. Oh my god! So you're telling me that isn't tan? This was me. This was when I was chasing. I don't know, man.
chasing
What
the
do 80s
girls,
people? Yeah,
chasing the babes.
this
Wait,
guy
hey-
is a stud for
Hey,
sure.
keep that picture up there real quick. I'm gonna make a banner.
Oh man. JC says my new profile picture, bro. Don't do that.
Here, there we go.
Chasing the babes. Don't worry. Not chasing milk for sure.
Oh,
Dude,
my gosh.
we gotta do something fun for Halloween. I wonder.
I-
What do you think, chat? Help us out here. What do we? What do we do?
I had an idea, man. I had an idea, but chat, don't let me stop you. I may have pitched this to you. I think I did a little while back. I thought, if you're watching, I don't think she is, but if she is watching, Sarah Maths, we need to bring her back and do snack or treat with Sarah Matthews, because she loves snacks, and Halloween is about eating stuff and doing crazy things. I think if we could get Sarah Maths back for Halloween and we do snack or treat, we eat space snacks.
Oh, dude, I'm so down. You had me at eating.
Yeah.
We should just eat every time we do a podcast.
Right. Yeah, right into the microphone, just
Like,
real close,
yeah.
all that crunching. Different. It'll be an ASMR, the galactic drive-through window. That was the we were going to talk about doing, was the galactic drive-through window.
The galactic drive-through window. Oh my god. Let's do it.
Uh-huh.
Dude, look at this.
I was going to dress up as Rose, and Daniel was going to the door. Oh, the Titanic.
Titanic.
Yeah, I was like, wait, hold on, wait, Rose. Yes, that's perfect. Okay, wait, hold on. Wait, I need to explain this, because Titanic. All right, for those of you who are on TikTok, I need you to go look up an account as soon as this is over, or right now, or whatever you're doing. Go look for Titanic Fan 97 on TikTok. It is one of the best accounts on TikTok, hands down. I've been following this guy for a while. Literally, his mantra, his whole spiel is that he collects Titanic on VHS, and he's got 3,400 copies of Titanic on VHS, and people just mail them to him. He does unboxings, and he plays this character of this crazed psycho super fan that only wants to watch Titanic on VHS. He loves
that's
James
so
Cameron, and he loves Jack Dawson. He's not about Rose. He loves Jack Dawson. So he's got all these plushies and mannequins and stuff dressed up as Jack Dawson. He worships, and he's super crazy. He plays this crazed fan. Go look for Titanic Fan 97. He's one of the best. He's in Florida,
Titanic
so
fan.
watch out, Steph. He's in Florida.
People are so interesting, man. They're such a that's such a random thing, but I love it.
It's so funny. It's so entertaining. But people literally mail him boxes of the double VHS box sets from the 90s.
Do you have any? Do you have yours?
I had it as a kid. I had the widescreen edition, and it got given away, I'm sure, years ago with my parents, in a whole box of VHS that we got rid of when we moved. I wish I still had mine, because I would totally have sent them it. But the only VHSs I have are Star Wars. I have them down here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm going to get them. Hold on. Ah.
VHS. Do you guys have a VHS player? Is that a thing?
Dude, here we go. I got my Star Wars box sets on VHS. I do not have Titanic, but I've got
Hold on.
the
We're gonna test you on the spot. I need you to take one out, and I need to see if you rewinded it.
Okay, well, so here. Let me preface this. This was mine from when I was a kid. I got this for Christmas when I was 7 or 8 years old. So this is the one that's going to prove if I rewound it, whatever the last time I watched it. And I have not had access to a VHS player since.
We just need to know, Nick.
Yeah, I'll just do it. Okay. The other one I bought at a thrift store.
Okay.
For $4 or something. So these were not mine. So whatever state these are in, I am not responsible for.
That's fair.
Let's verify. Okay, we'll start with A New Hope, dude. Let's see.
Oh,
Hey, I was a good boy. Yeah, this one's.
nice.
It seemed to look, yeah, this is the correct side over here.
Dude, I
That's
remember. I don't know if you guys ever had this, but I had my old house had a big roach problem, and sometimes some of these old VHS tapes would have bugs in them and stuff. So gross.
All right, what do you think? Empire Strikes Back? Do you think I
I'm
was a
gonna
good
say,
boy?
I'm gonna say it's halfway.
Half.
it's-
Ooh.
Like you didn't finish it.
Yeah, I stopped it maybe when Luke is on Dagobah or something. I got Battle of Hoth. Let's find out. Oh, it's a good boy again. Yeah,
Nice.
all right.
Be kind and rewind. Exactly.
Okay, chat, I need you guys to help me out here. What is your prediction? Return of the Jedi, my favorite Star Wars movie.
I'm gonna go
Did
with
I
good boy.
rewind it? Did I rewind it? Return of the Jedi. Here we go. Let's see. What is it? Let me know. Which side? It's this way. Yes! I was a good boy. Yeah.
Nice. Dude, they look like they're in great condition too.
They are in phenomenal condition
Wow.
because I'm a huge dork.
Man,
They're
I
in as
wanna
good of
watch
condition.
something.
They're in as good of condition as I can get. However, I do regret to say there's damage to the exterior box because I was
Yeah.
an idiot when I got it. And I remember I opened this up at Christmas and I tried to open the cellophane wrap on it on the corner of a table and it
Oh.
scratched the side of the box. It's kind of caved in. That's because I'm an idiot.
Still looks nice.
But yeah. So, oh, look at that. It kind of like makes almost a whole Darth Vader. Look at that. Where's the reflection? Look at that. That's kind of cool.
Nice.
Woo.
Nerd alert.
Nick, you have OCD? Me too. Yeah. Yeah, only a small dose of it. Or a lot.
It's Captain America. It's just,
Yeah.
He was just built that way.
I also saw something about Pokemon cards. Where is it? You have all of Disney and your Pokemon cards too. I have all my Pokemon cards. I've got my binders and my boxes just over here on a shelf.
Oh, you still have him?
Oh, all of them. Every single one from
Oh, no way.
1999, baby.
Do you have anything that's worth a significant amount?
Nothing that crazy. I have a Charizard. I've got my base set Charizard. It's an unlimited series Charizard. It's not a first edition Shadowless or anything. Like, yeah, look at me going off here. I do here. Okay, I'm just gonna go get it. Hang on.
Dang. I'm excited to see this. We might have to do a whole other podcast on just Pokemon cards. Do you guys ever play Yu-Gi-Oh? I was really big into Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay. Here's
All right,
my
let's see.
here's my binder of like my good cards. Let's open it up. Woo. Here we go. I've got my promo cards from the 90s here. It's like the very first Pokemon promo card was this Pikachu with the camera focus here.
Dang, bro.
There we go. I have that. I got all the ones from the movies. Man, my focus is not going to pull for me here today. I got all of them. But let's go to the good stuff. Promo cards. Got some of the newer stuff in here. There we go. There it is. There's the Charizard.
Bro. Dude, how much you want for it?
Let's bring it up.
Is that a Blastoise that's not on there?
dude.
Vulpix?
Yeah, we got a base set Blastoise.
Or Ninetales, not Vulpix.
I got
yeah.
two of them, I think. Dude, yeah, we're
Dude,
getting
they look
crazy.
so cool.
Got them all in here. Got all these base sets, jungle sets.
Sheesh.
I got 5 Machamps, baby.
Super strong.
All kinds of different things. I got some Japanese ones in here too, dude. Got the
Nice.
Dark Blastoise, the Dark Dragonite. Those are probably worth a little bit.
Where's all the energy cards?
Look
The
at this,
millions of them.
Oh, dude, they're all in boxes. Look at this special Pikachu from a Radiant Collection Pikachu, which I always love this one. Super fun. This has nothing to do with space, but I've got my binder. Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway.
Tiffy says, I'll spill a secret. I had a crush on Ash.
Wait, I have an error Ninetales? Which
That's-
one's the error?
Aaron Ninetales.
Tell me, what's the error?
I don't know. Yeah.
Show me. I was only aware of the error Vulpix with the HP issue.
Here, let me see that Ninetales. Is an
Yeah.
error card? Hey, how do you know this?
All right,
Next
here's
to the-
this one. Verify.
Trust but verify.
Okay, what's wrong with this card? What's the error?
We need one of those like breaker creators in here.
Oh, this is a Shadowless, isn't it? But it's
Look
not
it up.
first edition, but it's
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
the flame around the Ninetales is black. Oh yeah, okay, the flame. Oh,
Bro, you know how much this card's worth?
how much?
$700.
What?
I don't know. I'm just kidding. I made it up. But
Okay,
how
dude,
do I Aaron
Don't do
Ninetales-
this to me.
Here, let me go on. Let me go on eBay real quick.
Yeah,
Someone in the chat, let us know. Look it up.
the flame is black. It's not first edition, but it's Shadowless. Is that like also a thing?
Okay.
Now we're talking Pokemon cards. Enough.
Error Ninetales Shadowless. Okay. Oh my god. Hold on. 1999 Pokemon No Damage Ninetales Shadowless Hollow Rare. $750.
No,
I
okay,
wasn't-
no, you're
Dude.
not.
Dude. Hold on. Okay,
Black
well,
Flame. This is the Black Flame?
is it Black Flame? Here.
I was not aware of that being a
Black
discrepancy. What, did they fix it? Did it get changed during the unlimited printing?
Unlimited Rare.
This is wild. Is that black?
Tease.
Let's get how far is the macro on this 35 millimeter lens? I don't know.
Black Flame. I don't know. Well, okay, so I'm finding some
Yeah.
other ones that are around like the $45 to $100 range, which is still pretty crazy. But I
Dang.
want to know what's that $700 one.
Well, unfortunately, the card is kind of damaged. It's got a little bit of a wrinkle to it. A friend gave it to me when he was like, when he got too cool for Pokemon. He was like, "Here, have all my cards," and I was like, "Okay." So it's got a little bit of like it's been played, but it's still readable. That's wild, dude. I had no idea. This might be the most pricey card in the collection. I had no idea I had it. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, JC.
I am just impressed that JC just looked at it and through his stream, super far away. I'm like, oh yeah, that's an Error Ninetales.
I barely flashed the page for like half a second.
See Chris on TikTok here. Chris says, I probably threw away $3,000 in cards way back when I thought it was too cool. Yeah, I think a lot of us. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I sold mine, and then I also just like gave them away.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Good times.
What a deviation. We went from space conspiracy theories to Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I love the fun. Extra dose of fun.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Tonight's been tonight was cool. Just a reminder that hold on, I don't think we talked about this yet. Yeah, we didn't talk about this.
Oh, what are we talking about?
Well, we can just kind of gloss over real quick. But if you guys didn't know, there is a comet that is hopefully going to be a pretty cool thing to view within the next week. This is comet. Here, I wrote it down here. See if I pronounce this right. Comet C 2023 Suchinshan Atlas. And it'll be on its closest approach to Earth on the 13th. So it's going to be on the... sorry, I'm just literally just thinking Pokemon in my head, so I'm trying to like transition back to astronomy.
Yeah.
It's going to be visible on the west just after sunset. So right now, it's hardly visible in the morning. I actually did get a really cool photo of it during the star party, but it was like a 15-minute window where you could just barely see it right before the sun comes up, and after that, it's kind of just washed out in the sky. However, if it stays on this course, and it so far it has been, and in fact, I think it's actually surpassed the brightness of what it was originally predicted. Next week, it should be a really cool view just after sunset. So as soon as the sun dips down below the horizon where it gets dark, you should be able to see it. Binoculars and telescopes are probably going to be your best bet. It may be naked eye visible. Comets are really unpredictable, and I just don't want to steer anyone the wrong, or I just don't want to get your hopes up, is what I'm trying to say. So just keep an eye out for the new comet next week.
Dude, good point. Good point. Yeah, we got a good show with this one. I've been seeing so many amazing pictures from people, particularly I want to say in the southern hemisphere, have been seeing it better than the northern hemisphere. So if you're closer to the equator or in the southern hemisphere, you probably have a better shot, or at least you have had a better shot. It might be changing as it goes behind the sun and comes back around. But the pictures are incredible. So go onto like X and look up. Like that's a really good place for pictures. Maybe Instagram will probably have some of them too, but people have been posting some fantastic shots, beautiful tail. People who actually are really good at astrophotography have been just nailing these images. I wanted to get out there and see it, but even though we had like clear skies, I just knew it was getting so close to the sun that it was not going to be imageable with the equipment I have. I know like, people who have trackers and stuff and you can stack images with tracked shots. Like that's just going to do better. So like I just didn't make the effort. But maybe on the other side of it, it'll be a better opportunity. Who knows?
Yep, I think so. I definitely it's going to be. I mean, it might be as cool as Neowise, and if that happens, it's going to be a really special time for everyone. So yeah, mark your calendars, chat. I say October 13th, and every day, every subsequent day, it should appear higher in the sky. So it will be getting less and less bright though. So I would say, as of next week, as of the 12th, 13th, keep an eye out towards the west, and look for it just after sunrise, and maybe you'll see it.
Yeah, and make a couple of days worth of efforts too. If you got the weather cooperating with you, if you don't see it the first day, don't call it a bust. Like go out the next day and the next day and see how it changes. Maybe it's not so great day 1, but day 3, maybe you're like, oh wow, that's a noticeable difference. It's higher up, it's brighter, I can see it. That would be, just give yourself the opportunity. Don't write yourself off too soon. Yeah, JC in the comments, I do have TikTok as well. It's the Orbital Alliance. So you can find me there as well. Thanks for asking. So you guys, we've been chatting for a little over 2 hours. We've had a really good time tonight. It's been such a blast going into some of these crazy topics.
It has been. We should have had our tinfoil. Next time, we actually should have a tinfoil hat night where we just wear it.
That's genius.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as cheap as free. We can make it happen.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute ball getting to talk about this stuff. Tan, I've had a good time hanging. It's just been a good night. So yeah, tonight we're gonna wrap up tonight's episode and bid you all adieu. Thank you to our friends here in the YouTube chat. Thank you to those of you who've stuck around on the TikTok chat over on Chasing the Milk. Appreciate you, Milk Gang.
Yeah.
And again, we're just going to do another round here of the plugs because it really is the best way to support us. So if you guys have appreciated tonight, if you enjoyed the conversation, if you learned something that you didn't before, maybe it's something tiny, maybe it's something huge, the best way you can show support to us is by following us on our social media platforms. So go ahead and go to the Galactic window on TikTok, and you can follow us there. It's a brand new account. We just started it, so we can post clips. You can go to Chasing the Milk on all the major social media platforms and give Tan a follow. And you can support me, the Orbital Alliance, on all those platforms. If you go to my link tree in my bio, you can find all the links there.
Yep. If you don't care about all that, if you want to support us from afar, tune in every Monday, 9 p.m. Don't follow us, but continue watching. That's fine.
Yeah.
We want you guys to come back and learn some stuff and listen to us yap.
It's for sure. Oh, yeah, and yap we shall.
Yes.
Oh, cool, dude. Well, yeah, we'll be back here next week, Monday nights. We appreciate you all. We love you all. And you know the drill. We will see you all on the other side, but without hitting my mic. See you all on the other side. Oh, my gosh.
Peace out,
Bye,
everyone.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you.